Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Random Trek. I am your war-torn captain, Christopher Ingle, joined as always by my first officer, the man who has never been guilty of killing another man that I know of, Commander Brennan, the mystical Mar. Brennan, how you doing?
I'm actually Hawkeye Pierce.
Are you Hawkeye?
Or Klinger. I haven't decided which one.
I always thought I was either Father Mulcahy or Radar.
Yeah, no, I could see that.
Although my wife tells me that I am Major Winchester, and I see that
Oh,
too.
yeah,
I see
yeah,
that too.
yeah, I could see it. Yes, welcome to our
Oh,
non-Star Trek podcast.
yes. References. We should do a MASH podcast.
Yes, oh yes.
The war that never ends. But speaking of war, today's episode is season 2, episode 8 of Strange New Worlds, Under the Cloak of War. This was a really heavy episode sandwiched between two very light and very great episodes. Kind of an odd place for it.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember seeing this and wondering what they were going to do and was just so shocked and surprised. Brendan, what did you think of this episode?
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that it's sandwiched between two episodes that are a bit on the lighter side.
Mm-hmm.
But this one goes heavy, very heavy.
Yes, 100%. This is a tough one to watch, and with a character that you wouldn't expect to have a tough episode about. And we've had a tough episode, but this really goes into Dr. Mbenga's personality in a way that I didn't expect.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, let's get into it. So the Enterprise is hosting Ambassador Dokra, a Klingon general who defected for the Federation to the Federation, I should say. Um, but it was said that he ended up killing his own officers when he learned that they had ordered attacks on civilians while fighting on the moon of Jagal. Okay.
Hmm.
Veterans of the war. Now, this is the Federation-Klingon War that we saw pieces of in the first season of Discovery.
Yep.
They include Ortegas, Mbenga, and Chapel. They were all in the war.
Yep.
And they are very uncomfortable with this Klingon on the ship.
And
Um,
it's surprising that it's someone as soft spoken as Ndeng.
yeah, but it's always the quiet ones, isn't it?
Yeah, because he's a very kind of quiet, gentle guy.
Yes. Seeing how he treated his daughter and the young leader in the episode above the clouds with
Yes,
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
like, the softness and gentleness that is with him. You wouldn't expect this. But we do get a flashback of Mbenga and Chapel. They were serving at a field hospital, a MASH, if you will, on Jagal, and they saw the brutality that the Klingon forces were giving under Dakra's command.
And who happens to be in command of this base?
Go ahead.
It's Clint Howard. Yay!
It is Clint Howard. It is. I thought this was going to be a Bryce Dallas Howard directed episode. Knowing that, wouldn't that make sense?
That would be interesting, yes.
Yes. But anyway, no, I believe she's too busy on the other star project.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, so Mbenga and Chapel serving as field doctors and nurses. Doc Raw ended up inviting back today. Invites Mbenga to join his campaign for peace. He wants peace, and he starts talking about the symbolic power of a partnership between two men who are on opposing sides at the moon of Jagal. Um, he wants to help Mbenga find healing from the traumas that he experienced on that moon. Mbenga rejects Raw's offer, and he reveals that he knew for a fact that Raw ordered the attacks on the civilians and that his story was false.
Yeah.
Uh, and we find out that it was actually Mbenga who killed the Klingon officers whose deaths Raw is credited for taking for. It was
Oh,
Mbenga. that killed them using, I'm going to call it the super soldier serum. That's what I'm going to call
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, it's true.
Yep. Um, Now a fight breaks out between him and Dakra, uh, using the same dagger that he used to kill the officers. And we get to Mbenga telling Pike that, yes, I killed him. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. This was an accident, but I don't regret it. So the
Pretty
question,
heavy.
I guess the first question we're going to ask, did he actually do it on purpose?
Well, the way I interpret it, I think yes.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
think he killed him deliberately.
I love the ambiguity of it though. Absolutely love
Yeah,
the
that it's
ambiguity.
ambiguous is good.
Mm-hmm. And for a doctor to turn against their oath, to go against the Hippocratic oath and be willing to kill in
Mhm.
combat. How crazy is that to see that darkness? I don't think we've ever seen a doctor at this kind of a level in Star Trek. Have you? Can you think of one?
I don't think that I've seen any of the doctors in Star Trek do this.
Yeah, none of them. Absolutely not. Definitely Bones. Never seen Bones
No.
do this. Crusher. Now, Crusher is also a bridge officer, so she's
Hmm.
taken command and protected the ship, but never like this. Never hand to hand. Um, Pulaski would never do. Although, actually, if anyone would, I think it might be Pulaski.
It could be Pulaski, yes, yes.
Um, Bashir, Bashir, I'm sure maybe had to do some stuff during the war, but
That's true.
like, but again, all in the name of protection, in the name of protecting my crew, protecting the people. I think that's there.
Yeah.
Uh, the doctor. Now, that's an interesting one, and I hope we talk about some of the episodes with the EMH in the future. There were some moments with the EMH that I go,
Yeah.
wow.
Ethics, yeah.
Yeah, some great stuff. Here's the point. Star Trek doctors don't kill.
Hmm.
They don't. So to watch him do this, and it is basically, was it self-defense or was it more? I personally, seeing the rage that he went through, and I wonder if there aren't still some kind of psychological after effects exacerbated by the super soldier serum that him and Chapel took.
Hmm.
I don't know. But Chapel isn't out killing Klingons right now.
Mhm.
So I don't know. But it's a really fascinating look at a Benga. I love seeing a doctor like this dark and just he's nuts.
Mhm.
Right now he's nuts. And he has nothing to tether him back. Oh. What else did you enjoy about this episode? Obviously, Benga is that heart and focus, and
First
he's.
Chapel, I mean, Just Bush is amazing.
Hmm.
He is so good in the show.
Hmm.
Um, Getting to see her experience this, and particularly that bit with the transporter buffer, as you recall.
Hmm.
And Benga had to basically kill someone to make room for other casualties. It was very dark stuff. And then also Spock and Chapel's relationship.
Hmm.
That they kind of, I don't want to say broke up, but because of the psychological trauma, she needed space.
Hmm. There definitely was this feeling of it's not a love relationship, but
Yeah.
it felt close, a very close relationship, some kind of love, not a romantic love, but something, close, a familial, a father, a brother. And in war, a brotherly relationship would make sense.
Yeah, it's true.
Wow. It's just I
There's
did
a
not.
lot here. There's a lot we could talk about. But,
And I really just it all culminates in that last scene. That
yes,
last scene is the talking point of this entire thing.
yes.
Everything builds up into it. And it really reminds me of like a really good play, kind of like 12 Angry Men
Oh, yeah, yeah,
or even though it's made more as a comedy in the play, Glengarry Glen Ross.
yeah. Yes,
Um it builds and builds and builds and builds. Waiting for Godot, it builds and builds and builds and builds and builds. And it's really that ending where you kind of start to go, whoa, wait a second, what?
yep,
And to watch him get in a fight and to know that he, at his hand, he did kill that Klingon officer. There's no question about it.
yeah.
Shocker. And I really, really thought Pike would have reprimanded him right there and ripped him one, and he didn't. Because Pike is, too, a veteran of war. He's a veteran of war. He
It's true.
understands. He
It's true.
knows. He understands, and no one critiqued him. No one, not Ortegas. Chapel, and Chapel doesn't really say much about it. You could see the look on her face, though.
Yeah, and Jeff Bush is very good at that silent facial acting,
Mm-hmm.
where you can read everything in her look.
Yeah, I could not believe what we were going through, and watching
Mhm.
this just amazing. Um, this is the first episode in a while that actually does build to on the Klingon War,
Yeah, it's
which
true.
or in Star Trek, there is only truly one war that we have ever really got to know, and that's the Dominion War.
Yes.
Everything else, the first Klingon War, the Romulan Wars, the Xindi Wars. Well, Xindi we kind of got in there, but it was one ship. I don't call that a war, but but the Klingons and the Vulcans and all these, or the Cardassian War.
And we never actually got to see it.
Yeah, we've never really. Now they are available in book form in many ways, which is great,
Hmm.
but it's not this. Um, and it's just so fabulous to get to see, get to see Babs go at this and just really ham it home, and to have an episode focused on the doctors are always great because they tend to be the underrated characters.
That's
Bones
true.
was great, but of the trilogy, he was the one that got the less screen time,
Yeah, that's true.
the less focus. It was always Kirk and Spock, Kirk and Spock, Kirk and Spock. So
Mostly
here,
because William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy were trying to upstage each other.
right. How do you stop two Shakespearean actors? You don't.
Yeah, DeForest Kelly didn't need to upstage anybody.
Yes. And Clint Howard, you mentioned Clint Howard.
Clint Howard, yep.
I always view Clint Howard as this kind of, I'm just here and I'm gone. He has a legit role to play here.
Yeah, it's true. It's a more serious role.
More, yeah, very serious. And I don't get to see that a lot out of him. So I was very happy to see that happening here as
And to
well.
think that he was originally on Star Trek as a kid in the
Mm-hmm.
car that night in the New War.
It was absolutely. Thank you for mentioning that. He was Baylock. We should do that
Baylock.
episode sometime.
Maybe
Anyway,
we'll get lucky and the randomizer will give us that episode.
that would be weird. That would be very weird, actually. Anyway, that being said, I enjoyed this episode
Yeah, very
very
much.
much. I did. It's a good episode, and this is great for Mbenga. And you can watch the first 40 minutes of this, and I'm not saying nothing happens, but the climax, the highlight, the culmination of everything is that last encounter.
It is, yeah.
Oh, and it's that is a great way to build. This is a masterclass in writing too, to build and build and build and build and build and keep you going. And it's really reflective of the tension inside of Mbenga, the
Hmm.
building and building and building and building that must have been going on for years. And now that he doesn't have his daughter around, he's focusing on that and seeing that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hmm.
so good. I'm sure having Tyler aboard didn't help either. When that incident went down,
Yes.
not in this series, but in Discovery, having Tyler
Oh,
and
yes.
crew. I digress. But anyway, great episode. Highly recommend it. Good tension. Between two very light and funny episodes.
which are also very profound episodes, surprisingly.
I think we've reviewed both of them. Yeah, we have. We've reviewed both of them.
Here we have, yeah.
Yeah, I like them. All right. So next week we have original series.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Week after that, it will be Next Generation. And then to end the month, we have a very big event. Our look at The Empire Strikes Back,
Oh,
where we're going to have our first crossover between us and our good friend Ryan Permison. We are going to watch it on his channel, and we're going to review it together on our channel.
mhm.
So that'll be a lot of fun reviewing that. And our friend, Case Cornelese, will also be on, not with us, will be on the other one that we will be watching. So I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to those are coming in. I've heard there'll be 5 people on screen watching Empire.
Yes.
Cool. All right. Shall we hit the randomizer for next week?
Yes, indeed. Let's see what we get to our original series.
Wheel of Morality, turn, turn, turn. Please don't give me the third season. Already gave me the third season. But it's a talked about one. Plato's Stepchildren.
Oh, okay.
I think I the reason this gets talked about controversially, we'll talk about it next week. I think it's overrated.
Yeah.
At that moment is overrated. We'll talk about it next week. Brennan, where can the people find you?
Well, you can find me on Blue Sky at brandmar.bluesky.social
And
and on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube at Page Turners They Were Not.
and you can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Ingle 1984. And as always, we end every episode. Kapla! And live long and prosper.
Peace and long life.